All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're looking at 7.6, solving systems of linear inequalities. If you replace the equal symbol in any linear equation of two variables with a greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, or not equals to, you create a linear inequality in two variables. The graph of the linear equation that relates to the linear inequalities divides the coordinate plane into two regions, or half planes. The line itself is the boundary of each of these two half planes. If the inequality symbol is less than or equal to, or greater than or equal to, then the boundary line is solid. If the inequality symbol is less than or greater than, then the boundary line is dotted. Okay, so we're going to look at example 1a. We've got the equation y is less than or equal to 2x minus 3. First of all, if we're going to graph any equation, it has to be in what form? Y equals mx plus b, slope intercept, which this is. So I'm going to put my first dot at -3. And then I'm going to go up 2 over 1, because that's my slope, good. Or down 2 over 1. Now, it's underlined, therefore it's a solid line. If it was not underlined, if the inequality sign was not underlined, it would not be a solid line, it would be dotted. Okay, now here's the part we've done before, but we're going to go over it again. We have to figure out which side to shade, because it says y is less than or equal to this, not greater than, not equal to. So it's not equal to something on this line, it's equal to something less than this line. So I'm going to plug in 0, 0 to figure out which side I shade. When I plug in 0, 0, I get 0 is less than or equal to 2 times 0 minus 3. And so I get 0 is less than or equal to -3. Is that true? Is 0 smaller than -3?
No.
No. So I'm going to shade the opposite side. All right. So we're going to go down to B. Your B is right next to, but I need more room. So I'm moving, oops. Okay, for B, we've got, please stop talking, -3x plus 2y is greater than -10. So first of all, is this in slope-intercept form? No. So I'm going to add 3x to both sides first, and I'm going to get 2y is greater than positive 3x minus 10. Then I'm going to divide everything by a 2, and I'm left with y is greater than 3 halves x minus 5. Now that's in slope-intercept form. So now I'm going to graph it on a graph. I'm going to put my first dot at -5. Down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I'm going to go up 3 over 2. Up 1, 2, 3 over 1, 2. Now it's a dotted line, or a dashed line, because it's not underlined. So now I'm going to figure out if I'm going to shade 0 or not. So I plug in 0. 0 is greater than 3 halves times 0 minus 5. Is 0 bigger than -5?
No.
Would you rather only no money or $5? No money. So 0 is bigger. So you shade all of the side that covers 0, 0. Didn't know you were going to get to color today, right?
You should do it with like the small face.
I'm too short, though, to jump up and hit it every single time. I tried last time.
Do what?
Okay.
I can read it.
All right. We're going to move on to C. Now, C, we have to make 2 lines and shade 2 lines. So you got to be careful with your shading, because where they overlap, you've got to shade it darker. I'll show you what I mean. I'm going to move to a different page. Okay. So we're looking at C. We've got x plus y is less than 3. And then I've got x plus 4y is greater than or equal to 0. Okay, so first I'm going to start with my blue line. Is that in slope-intercept form?
Yes.
No.
What do I have to do to get it there? Subtract x. Nice. And I get y is less than negative x plus 3. So I put my first dot where? On the 3. And then what's my slope? Yep, down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1. And I'm going to do it all along my graph because it is a dotted line, not a solid line. Okay? Now I'm going to figure out where I shade. I'm going to plug in 0 for y, 0 for x, and I'm going to get 0 is less than 3. Is 0 less than 3? Is that a true statement?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to shade over 0, 0. I'm going to do it real lightly because I know that's not my final answer. I'm going to go down here to my green one. Is this in slope-intercept form? No. So I'm going to subtract x from both sides. I get 4y is greater than or equal to negative x. Divide everything by 4. And I get y is greater than or equal to negative 1/4 x. Sorry, I know this green is hard to see. Okay, so I start at 0 because nothing's being added or subtracted. And I'm going to go down 1 over 4 or up 1 over negative 4. And it is a solid line. And now the tough part, plugging in that 0. What is all this? No. Stop. No. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're looking at the bottom end right here. Okay, so we plug in 0, 0. We get 0 is greater than or equal to negative 1/4 times 0. Please stop talking while I'm talking. So we get 0 is greater than or equal to 0. Okay, well the point is that y is greater than it. Stop talking. So we shade everything above the green line. Here's the point that I want you to see. I want you to see everything above the green line.
I'm confused. What is that?
The point is I want you to see that the part that we overlapped is between them. See that red? So you shaded under the blue line lightly. You shaded over the green line. This was supposed to. So you shade over the green line. And the part where it intersects, yeah, see, you shade this part too. And it's the part that intersects that you shade real dark. So this is the part you shade real dark right in there, because that intersects. You're not even on the right side.
Oh, I just turned it over to see what it
Anybody have a question? We're going to do another one like this.
I don't like doing them in different
Okay.
colors.
Yes. All right. Let's try another one. Hopefully, I'm going to try to do this in different colors so you can see the difference. Okay. We've got y is less than 2. So I go to my y-axis, and I'm going to put a solid or a dotted line. Dotted, because it's not underlined, at 2. Okay, now I'm going to shade with blue. Is 0 less than 2? Yes, so I'm going to shade underneath. Real light. Then my next one is I've got x is greater than or equal to negative 1. So I go to my x-axis, I go to negative 1, and I'm going to have a solid line. Then I'm going to say, is 0 greater than or equal to negative 1? Would you rather owe me $1 or have no dollars? No dollars. So I'm going to shade everything on this side. And then my last one, I've got y is greater than x minus 2. So I'm going to put my first dot at negative 2. I'm going to go up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, and it's dotted because it's not underlined.
Oh.
Okay? going to shade is 0 greater than -2. So I'm going to shade it on the top because that's where 0 is. And I know it looks like a hot mess, but this is the part where there is blue, red, and green. So I'm going to shade this nice and dark. And that's the part that's my answer.
Oh.
Is that better? Okay, we've got one more. Let's turn it over.
I did it.
Okay, let me just tell you this. This one, just like this, is on your quiz tomorrow. You ready? Okay, we have to figure out the equations of both these lines. Equations mean that it's going to be y equals mx plus b form. Except we won't have an equal sign, we'll have a less than or greater than sign. So I'm going to look at the solid line first. What is my b for the solid line? We know this is all shaded in, but I'm looking at the solid line. Where does it cross the y-axis? At what point? At 1. So I know my b is 1. Okay? What is my slope? How much does it go up and then over? So I'm looking at the slope and I'm like, okay, it goes up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. So I know my slope is 1. Okay, and then I've got y. Is it stuff that's bigger than my line on numbers that are bigger than it, or is it stuff that are smaller than my line? Smaller. So we have smaller and we have it underlined. Okay, now we're going to look at the dotted line. Which axis does the dotted line cross, the x or the y? X. So we've got an x. What number is it on? 3. Is it shaded over numbers that are bigger than 3 or less than 3? 2 is less. So x is less than 3. You're done. That's it?
That's all? Are you serious?
Right.